is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Ohio.
The city of brotherly love has been anything but kind to the Tribe. The Phillies outfield gobbled up a scoring chance in the 8th and then snagged a potential go-ahead hit in the 9th inning to extend their winning streak to 5 games. Pitching will be front and center today as flamethrowers Danny Salazar and Vincent Velasquez match up fastball for fastball next on Sports Time Ohio. Another chilly, rainy day here in Philadelphia, but it looks like we're ready for baseball as the Indians try to get out of town and avoid being swept at the hands of the National League's Phillies. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Well, we closed out the month of April last night with another tough, gut-wrenching loss for the Indians. And Rick, this team wanted to get off to a good start. It looked like they were poised to have a good April, but it really fizzled in a hurry.
Well, it's been better than it was last year, and you can see 10 and 11, but 10 of those games have been one-run ball games. And, you know, you look at the batting average, you look at the runners in scoring position. They had opportunities to win many more games than what they did. The bullpen's been a little shaky, but if they can turn it around with a couple of key hits here or there and a few saves here or there.
That team batting average, by the way, at .248 doesn't seem all that great, but that's 6th best in the American League. In the 5 straight one-run games the Indians have been involved in, they've lost 4 of those 5. Let's take a look at today's pitching matchup. 2 absolute fireballers going head-to-head.
Well, the right-handers are going to see a lot of fastballs today to mix with some sliders and some changeups. Very good pitchers, both power pitchers and both strikeout pitchers. Salazar's got to bounce back. He had a shaky start in his last outing. He'll be going up against Vince Velasquez, who is 3-1, a fine 1.78 ERA, and he is a strikeout pitcher as well.
Yeah, I mean, this guy can pile them up. These guys both average around 9 strikeouts per 9 innings. Phillies, of course, lead the National League, all of baseball, in strikeouts. And the Philadelphia Phillies don't walk many guys either, so that's something to keep an eye on here this afternoon. We'll be back with all the play-by-play Indians-Phillies coming up next. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by W.B. Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by your local Toyota dealers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And we are ready for baseball this afternoon here at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as the Indians wrap up this 9-game road trip. A road trip that saw them sweep the Tigers in Detroit. Then they went to Minnesota, lost the first 2 to the Twins. They avoided the sweep by winning the series finale. Off day here on Thursday, and then the 3-game series with the Phillies began, watching the Indians drop the first 2. And now the same scenario plays here in Philadelphia. The Indians trying to win this game and avoid being swept at the hands of the Phils. Won't be easy, though. Philadelphia is a streaking club. They've won 5 in a row, 8 out of their last 9, and are currently 14-10. The Indians have dropped 4 out of 5 and fallen a game below 500 at 10-11. And we say happy May Day to our Andre Knott.
Oh, thank you very much, Matt. 6 of the 8 games on this road trip, if you talked about, have been one-run ball games. And for Terry Francona, he's seen a lot as a manager in the big leagues, but this week has been different than others. Here's today's Hear Right sounds of the game.
Well, I don't think they're ever going to quit playing. I mean, we've played a number of games that are just like this every night. Just, you know, they made, you know, that kid made a nice play in right field. That's, give him some credit. That was a nice play because the kid leaned all over that ball.
And sometimes when you're snake bitten, that's the way things go. You hit a ball hard, you hit it right at somebody, or somebody makes a great play against you.
We talk about it a lot. They've been in every single game. And the opportunity, when you win them, you don't think about little things and everything's magnified. When you lose them, you really have to soul search and see every little thing you could have done better. They had the opportunities. They need a few breaks to go their way. So now they're going to have to make them today and win this last game, and we'll head home. And
it will not be easy because they've got a tough customer on the hill here this afternoon. Here's the Indian starting lineup, brought to you by Progressive. For Terry Francona today, it will be Jose Ramirez, Jason Kipnis, and Francisco Lindor. Carlos Santana, Yan Gomes, and Tyler Naquin, who's had a good series with a triple and a run scored. Rajai Davis, Lonnie Chisenhall, and the pitcher, Danny Salazar. And Vincent Velasquez on the hill for Philadelphia. And his first pitch is a fastball up and away for ball 1. They say it's 51 degrees, but I'm not buying it. Down low, 2 balls and no strikes. Velasquez has only walked 6 in his 25 1/3 innings so far this year against 33 strikeouts. And he's 3-0 to Ramirez to start the game. There's a fastball in the zone.
Third different leadoff guy in this series. It was Davis Friday, it was Kip Saturday, and today it is Ramirez.
Taking all the way, it's ball 4, and the Indians leadoff man aboard to start the game.
Let's check out Vince Velasquez's numbers, our Northern Ohio Hyundai starting pitcher. His 4 starts, he's 3-1, a nice 1.78 ERA, just 25 1/3 innings. He just walked his 7th batter. He allowed 2 home runs, but he, like Danny Salazar, they don't give up many hits. Just a 174 opponent batting average. Came over from the Houston Astros with Mark Appel, Brett Oberhoser. When they gave up Ken Giles was the big one in that deal, who was the closer for Philadelphia last year.
You mentioned 3 different leadoff hitters in 3 games in this series, and Ramirez is the first to get on base to start a game. Let's see if the Indians can make something happen with that as Jason Kipnis stands in. Another throw to first, driving Ramirez back. Now 174 opponent's batting average against Velasquez. That's 3rd best in the National League, and overall as a pitching staff, Philly has held the opposition to a 228 average, which is 3rd best in the National League. Outside, ball 1 here in the early going. Velasquez having a tough time finding the strike zone with his fastball, and in comes Freddie Galvis from short to try to offer his pitcher a little
right now you
comforting words.
Remain patient. Make him, force him to get him in the strike zone. We talk about getting starters early. If they get an opportunity, he's going to give you a couple runners. Try to take advantage.
And that one's down low. Sometimes with power pitchers, we've seen this with Danny Salazar, where you just can't seem to find that arm slot or find that strike zone. And then once they find it, they can fill it up in a hurry.
Yeah, if and when they find it.
The 2-0, taking all the way, it looked like, in for a strike. And it's 2-1. Kipnis bounces one on a double play ball to second base. And the Phillies quickly turn 2.
Let's check out that Philly defense behind Velasquez this afternoon. It's going to be Ruff in left, Herrera in center. Borges is over in right, Franco at third, Galvis at short, Hernandez is at second, Howard at first, Rupp catching.
Up comes Francisco Lindor. Lindor 3 for 9 in the series. And looks at a strike. When Velasquez gets it going, not only is it tough to get a hit, put the ball in play, it's hard to make contact. He is averaging just under 12 strikeouts per 9 innings of work. It's third best in the National League. And the 0-2 breaking ball in the dirt.
Well, 3 starts ago against the Padres, he had a complete game, 9 innings, allowed 3 hits, did not walk anybody, and had 16 strikeouts in that game. So you talk about being locked in. That doesn't happen too often.
Lindor pops one up foul, and that'll find the seats. Well, the Astros paid a heavy price to get a closer, because they gave up this arm, Velasquez, who obviously has a chance to be very special. Brett Overholtzer's a solid pitcher. He's being used out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
Mark Appel, I guess the jury's still out there. I mean, he's a former #1 pick. You would think he's got some upside and some promise.
But the guy they traded for, Giles, he's not even closing for him anymore. He started out, at least the last time I looked, he wasn't.
A 1-2, fouled right back. And not to mention the Astros have lost 8 out of 10, and they are currently in last place in the AL West with a record of 7-17. The crew chief Larry Vanover will call the balls and strikes today. Alfonso Marquez, Chris Guccione, and David Rackley on the bases. Pulls that one foul. Big chopper in the hole, and Lindor has a base hit. So Francisco, with his 4th hit in the series, keeps the inning alive with 2 down. Keys to the game are brought to you by Wayside Furniture. Score off the starter, because this Phillies bullpen has gone 18 scoreless innings, which is the longest streak in baseball this year. And for Danny Salazar, command of the secondary pitches will be important. Carlos Santana and Larry Vanover looking into the Indians dugout. Not sure what that was about, but Vanover was in discussion with Terry Francona about something.
For the Indians, that's their 8th 2-out hit in this series.
Santana 0 for 3 in the series with a walk. Mike Sarbaugh grew up not far from here and crossed the line in Jersey. Santana ropes it fouled up the first base side. Mike Napoli getting the second day off in a row. Santana's had a good trip, and that started with Terry Francona putting him in the leadoff spot in Detroit when the Indians visited Comerica Park. He homered off Justin Verlander. He takes it's down low, 1-1. I mean, the Indians, there's Roberto Perez, by the way, who's oh no, that's not Roberto, that's the new
Hunter,
bullpen arm, Tommy Hunter. Made his debut last night. Welcome to the team, huh? Terry Francona, you know, he's toyed with the Indians lineup since he's become manager, moving people around, but I don't know that we've ever seen more drastic changes to the lineup than we've seen on this particular road trip.
Well, it started, you're right, with Santana leading off. That was the first strange one. We started in Detroit, but now we're ending in a National League town where the pitcher has to hit. And we've used 3 different leadoff guys, and you know, guys getting days off, so it is different.
And Michael Brantley came back to the team in the middle of this road trip.
Yes, he did. Been a lot going on.
Pitch out, but nothing was doing with the Indians. And the count 2-2.
Obviously, they feel that they're going to run. This is not the night, a very good track to run on today. It's been raining most of the night, all morning. Not that the field's real wet, but it's moist out there.
Lindor's running on the 2-2 pitch, and that's lifted in the air, foul. Franco near the railing, but can't get to it. And Santana will get to see at least another pitch. Carlos Santana, 3 homers, 11 runs batted in with 6 doubles on the year. Freddie Galva stays on the left side of the infield, the shortstop. The third baseman, Franco, is actually over where the second baseman would normally stand, and the second baseman, Hernandez, is out there in the right field grass. 2-2. This time Lindor not running, and the pitch is low, full count. It's been a long grind of an inning for Vince Velasquez, and he caught a break when the Indians hit into a double play after he walked the leadoff man. We'll see if they can keep the pressure on him here in this first inning. Runner goes. The payoff pitch is a fastball line right into the mitt of big Ryan Howard at first base, and the inning is over. No runs, a hit, a man left. The Phillies will come to bat when we come back. now heads out to the Indians bullpen. Don't forget your new cup. Here's the starting lineup for the Phillies under manager Pete Mackanin. Odubel Herrera leading it off. Freddie Galvis batting second. He has had a good series, driving in 3 with a home run. Michael Franco bats third. Then it's Ryan Howard, Cameron Rupp, and Darren Ruff. Cesar Hernandez, the pitcher Vince Velasquez, and Peter Borges batting ninth.
And our Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher today, Danny Salazar, his 5th start this year, coming off a start in Minnesota. Didn't have his control. He ended up walking 4. He had 3 strikeouts, only went 4 2/3. Allowed 3 hits for his 3rd consecutive game and the 3 runs. So he's looking for his first win in interleague play, going 0-4 in 7 career appearances.
Odubel Herrera to lead it off and takes a fastball in there for strike 1.
It's the guy you talk about, the leadoff spot. He's on an 11-game hitting streak. He's reached base 21 consecutive games and has scored a run in 7 consecutive games. So he's been one of the culprits when you talk about that pitcher hitting 8th for this team. I think it's really this guy in that leadoff spot.
Pitch is up and away. And Salazar falls behind the leadoff man Herrera 2-1.
Danny didn't have his off-speed pitches last start in Minnesota. He was searching for him and ended up having to go just strictly with a fastball for the most part.
That ball's laced to fairly deep center where Tyler Naquin makes the play, 1 away.
Well, he hit it hard. The ball's not carrying today. Again, it's a cool day, damp. He flips the bat no matter where he hits the ball. That's just part of the routine. I'm going to have to watch him, and well, we won't get a chance to see him in batting practice anymore. Wonder if he does it after every swing in BP.
Have to go pick up his bat a lot if he
Yeah,
did.
just keep a dozen in there.
Freddie Galvis takes a strike. Off-speed pitch, and it spins up in high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Out of play down the left side. The Chicago White Sox lead the American League Central Division with a record of 17-8. They put up 3 runs on Ubaldo Jimenez, a solo homer by Brett Lawrie, a RBI knock by Jose Abreu. And that's probably all Chris Sale needs, the way he's been throwing this year. This National League East is a division on fire right now. Washington, that leads the way, has won consecutive games. The Mets have won 8 straight. The Phillies 5 in a row, and Miami, a couple of games behind them, they've won 7 straight. And then there's poor little old Atlanta bringing up the rear, and in all of baseball for that matter, with a record of 5-18. And they have to play perhaps a man short today in Chicago. And a roster snafu. They're trying to get somebody called up in time for the game, but
They've already, if they start, yeah, they're in the 3rd inning in Chicago. But some good baseball being played in the NL East.
Salazar with a 1-2 to Galvis, and another foul back out of play. Jose Abreu was just thrown out at home, but the White Sox have scored again, 4-0 over the Orioles. Galvis down on strikes. 2 down here in the first.
Let's check the Indians defense. Brought to you by Jeep. Behind Salazar today, it's Davis in left, Naquin in center, and Chisenhall is in right. Ramirez at third, Lindor at short, Kip is at second, Santana at first, and Gomes doing the catching.
Danny Salazar is averaging just over 10 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched. Foul back out of play. But where Danny has really excelled here in the early part of the season, a month in, is he has held the opposition to a 139 batting average, which is #1 in all of baseball. I guess you would think that just by the nature of having the pitchers hit in the National League, that the National League pitchers would own the best mark in terms of opponent's batting average, just for the mere fact that they have truly one less hitter to face every time through.
Yes, he did.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
Once you get up and you start, you see he has a lot of movement. He couldn't stop the bat. He didn't want to swing. That ball kept bearing inside on him.
Now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Overall, a month into the season, the Indians pitching staff owns an ERA of 4.01, and that's 12th. So near the bottom. Swung on and missed. Danny Salazar strikes out a pair, and the Phillies go 1-2-3 here in the first. We've played an inning in the city of brotherly love with no score.
Bat app. You can stay connected all season with radio broadcasts, video highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your smartphone and tablet.
Yan Gomes leading off, pops the first pitch up. The first baseman, Ryan Howard, makes the play 1 away. The injury report brought to you by the attorneys at Elk & Elk. Roberto Perez put on the 15-day DL prior to the game. The Indians believe that on that play at the plate last night when he dove to tag out Herrera, that he did something to his thumb. Didn't really notice it at the time, but overnight it began to swell up. And when he got here this morning, it was really sore and So they wanted to take a look at it, and Terry Francona didn't want to get caught shorthanded, so they decided to put him on the DL. Adam Moore got here just in time to suit up, so he's available if needed. Tyler Naquin, 2 for 5 in the series. He has tripled and he has scored a run. And there's a case where Velasquez got away with a pitch. Cameron Rupp wanted that up, where Naquin has been prone to chase. That was right down the slot, but Naquin still couldn't catch up to it. You see where the target is.
But just there it is. He hit the target that time. Sometimes it's hard for pitchers. They're programmed to pitch down in the zone, down in the zone. Every once in a while with 2 strikes, you'll see a catcher set up high. It's tough for them to raise their sights sometimes. So if you get one up there, hopefully you hit it.
Now the 0-2, that one took off on him. Curveball hit up the middle. Tracked down by Galvis from the outfield grass. He won't be able to throw out the speedy Naquin, and Tyler's got a 1-out single. This was the play in case you missed it last night. Perez on a ball that didn't get away from him that far, but Odubel Herrera tried to score from third. Perez got him out, but it was the right thumb, and they believe he might have injured it on that play. Didn't notice it at the time. Obviously, he was high-fiving people. He was pumped up.
Yeah, that was a big play at the time of the game.
But he might have stoved it. It looks like he's holding it deep in his fist as he was running off. So he might have felt a little something there, and it just kind of got worse as the night wore on. Rajai Davis, 1 out of 6 against the Phillies. A stolen base, a run scored, and a run batted in. It's not really raining here in Philadelphia, but there is still a fine mist falling. So not only is it damp, but the playing surface is still soaking up a lot of moisture from the air. It's not a pleasant day to be at the ballpark. The 1-0.
Well, it wasn't a pleasant day. They had their run here in Philadelphia today, right down Broad Street, and I mean thousands of people started running right past the hotel, and you could hear them from, what, 8, 9 in the morning.
Yeah, the race concluded right down here near the ballpark. One ball, one strike, the count on Davis. And a foul right back.
Well, even though you're sitting behind netting, you got to watch out because it comes back at you in a hurry and it scares you to death. I mean, that is scary. You see it coming right at you. You try and get out of the way.
That's called an involuntary reaction, I think.
She's moving now. She's not going to work 2 times.
She said, "I'm not going to get me. I'm going to bob and weave like Rocky Balboa." Here's the 1-2, and Davis pops it up back and into the seats. Indians already with a couple of hits. Lindor had a 2-out single in the first. Naquin a 1-out knock here in the second. It's saying something against a guy like Velasquez, who has not given up many hits at all this year. But stringing them together to try to produce a rally is a whole different story.
Well, you're getting down to the bottom part of the lineup, and after Chisenhall comes the pitcher, so you would like to try and make something happen here if you could.
Instead, Davis chases one out of the strike zone, 2 down. First strikeout for Velasquez.
And this is the pitch that if you're a hitter, you want to lay off of from Velasquez, because it's above the belt, tough to catch up to. And boy, if you're lucky, you'll foul it off and stay alive. But a lot of times you come up empty. We've seen a lot of Indians swinging at that pitch throughout the course of this road trip, the high fastball, which you really want to try and lay off. Looks good, tough to hit.
Breaking ball in for a strike. Lonnie Chisenhall coming off a 3-for-4 performance with a double and 2 runs scored. Down and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. White Sox now lead the Orioles 6-0 in the 5th in Baltimore. Twins over the Tigers 2-1. They're in the 3rd at Target Field. Royals finishing up their West Coast swing later on in Seattle. And Kansas City's having a rough go of it. They've lost 5 in a row. Pitch is outside. 2 balls and a strike. 2 down here in the 2nd. And Lonnie Chisenhall sends a sky-high pop to center. Herrera over toward left center, makes the catch. No runs, a hit, another man left. Middle of the 2nd, no score in Philly.
Season tickets still available, and you can include 8 different plans. You buy a reported 20-game plan and you'll get up to 12 games for free. You can visit Indians.com season tickets for more details.
Here in Philadelphia at this ballpark at Citizens Bank Park, they have competing cheesesteak stands. They've got Tony Luke's and they've got Campo's. Several years ago when you and I were here, we went to the original Pat's. And then right across the street from Pat's is Geno's. Those have been probably the 2 most famous Philly cheesesteak stands. The odd thing about Philly cheesesteak, though, is that they serve it with Cheese Whiz. It's just kind of a strange.
That's different.
Yeah. Swing and a miss by Ryan Howard. Now here it's commonplace. We want the provolone.
Yeah, give us the provolone and we're fine.
But when you go to one of those places, you have to know how to order, because you either order with or without.
Without.
Wit is with the grilled onions. Howard goes chasing, and another strikeout for Danny Salazar. He's fanned 3 in a row. Here are our Quicken Loans rocket arms, and Danny Salazar averaging just over 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. Vince Velasquez averaging almost 12. But so far it's Danny with 3 strikeouts in the first 4 batters he faced. And Velasquez has struck out just 1 in the first 8 that he has seen. Now Cameron Rupp, the Phillies catcher. A lot of Cameron's family on hand for today's ball game, and before the contest began, his mom threw out the first pitch to her son. It's a pretty cool moment. Breaking ball in there for a strike.
There's a nice slider.
Cameron's dad pitched 3 years in the Montreal Expos minor league system back in the late 1970s.
Way back in the late 1970s.
No, I'm thinking that doesn't really. Would that be right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 77, 78,
Yeah.
79.
So I didn't face him because he was a National League guy.
Boy, that's a tough pitch to lay off with 2 strikes. He did, and it was barely a ball.
Well, it looked pretty good. Gomes is sitting away, and that ball comes down and in. That's a strike.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Tell you what, that's a good pitch. That ball was coming down and in. It hit the zone. Didn't get the call from Vanover.
Didn't matter. He strikes him out anyway. 4 in a row for Salazar. And the Phillies are getting a first-hand look at one of the most devastating strikeout pitchers in the American League.
Comes right back with that changeup again, and that's going to be our Circle K strikeout. 4 consecutive punch-outs for Danny. And in that at-bat, you saw him throw a good fastball, a slider, a couple of changeups.
Give him 30 strikeouts now and 25 innings of work. 24 2/3 to be exact. Here's Darren Ruff. He was 1 for 4 with the double last night. One ball, 1 strike. Couldn't put it in play, and now he's down in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And you can see Ruff's approach. He's no dummy. He's watched the first 5 guys go up there. He's trying to put a ball in play early in the count. But sometimes that's easier said than done.
Yes, indeed.
And on the 1-2 pitch, he too goes down hacking. 5 straight strikeouts for Danny Salazar. And we are scoreless through 2 in Philadelphia. downtown. And what is downtown? About 6-10 miles from here?
It's about right. Yeah, it's about 10.
Good talking to you. Here's Danny Salazar leading off. Indians pitcher. And he looks at a ball outside. Salazar looking for his first hit in interleague play. He's 0 for 9 in his career at the dish. Pops this one up, and Ryan Howard's got himself another can of corn. One away.
Well, come on out to Progressive Field early this week. It'll be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday when the Indians are going to return home. They'll face the Detroit Tigers. Coming off a sweep to start this road trip, beating them 3 straight in Detroit. Going to try and do the same thing back in Progressive Field. You can go to Indians.com and get your tickets. I think we have pretty much the same pitching matchups that we had when we were in Detroit. Verlander. Sanchez is going the second game. They were going to pitch Green, but he was put on the DL yesterday. So it's to be determined. It could be
Jordan Zimmerman.
Yeah, it could be. That would be his 5th day because they have Monday off as well. So we'll see. We'll know by Tuesday.
Jose Ramirez walked his only time up. And a count 2 balls and a strike. Belt high strike, full count. And he walks him for the 2nd time today. Our great clip of the game from last night, courtesy of Jason Kipnis. This sac fly drove in a run and almost had extra bases if not for a great defensive play. And then this solid base hit drove in yet another run. And then, of course, his last at bat, he almost put the Indians in the driver's seat. Drove one to deep right field, but a nice play made by Borges.
Couldn't hit it any better than he hit it, that's for sure.
So 1 on 1 out for Kipnis. It might have. Take a look at the at bat that ended the Kipnis's night. And the Indians fell just short. It might have been difficult for scouts when they were looking at Velasquez in high school to figure out where his best fit would be professionally, because when he was a senior in high school in Pomona, California, he batted .608. .608. He had 29 RBIs in 80 at bats, scored 44 runs. He had 14 doubles, 5 triples, couple of home runs, and he stole 18 bases while only being caught twice. But on the mound, he was 6-1 with a 1.89 ERA and punched out 52 in 49 innings.
Not a bad overall game right there.
They probably figured, well, we'll draft him. We'll figure out what to do with him later. I think it's worked out well, though, for Philadelphia now. He was the 58th overall pick in the draft. That was back in 2010. Good fastball, caught the outside corner and runs the count full. Runner goes, payoff pitch, swing and a miss, throw it out a second, and it's a strike him out, throw him out, double play to end the inning. Middle of the third, and still no score in Philadelphia. Later in the game for Miller time, it's brought to you by Miller Lite. Bottom of the third here in Philadelphia, and Cesar Hernandez will lead it off. 6 up, 6 down for Danny Salazar. The last 5 all via the strikeout. Hernandez hitless in the series and takes outside, ball 1. One ball, 1 strike. Cesar Hernandez made his major league debut just 6 days after his 23rd birthday. This is the first sign of trouble for Danny Salazar as he's fallen behind 3-1. The rain or the mist has picked up a little bit in intensity here in the bottom half of the third. Ball fouled right back off the body of Yan Gomes in a full count.
Well, I'd like to send along a happy birthday wish to Rose Smith from Amherst. Big Tribe fan. Rose, happy birthday to you.
There's the 3-2. And a foul out of play.
Emergency swing to stay alive.
Barely got a piece of that, didn't he?
That's all. Yeah, that's all you have to do as a hitter. Just almost picked that out of the glove of Gomes. Watch how deep it gets. And that ball was almost back behind home plate.
Yeah.
But he just got enough of it, and he's up there for one more swing at least.
And he pops that one up into foul territory. And Jose Ramirez hangs on one away. Arquilla in the driver's seat today shows you that the Indians gave up just 2 unearned runs. That's the fewest in the major leagues.
Well, that's a rarity because last year it was probably they were down at the bottom of the list where they gave up probably the most. They tightened it up, you know, after they called Lindor up and things like that. But the last couple of years, they've given up their share of unearned runs.
Well, the infield defense has definitely improved greatly.
Right.
And the outfield has kind of been makeshift, and with Brantley out of the lineup.
They've got to tighten that up because you have a lot of different guys playing a lot of different positions out there. That's the thing. Now they have so many different outfielders. Who's going to play on a daily basis? And when Michael is back, even though he has the day off, he's manning left field. And Davis, they've done a nice job filling in when Michael's been out. When you have Davis out there, Ramirez has played out there, and then now Naquin's starting to play most of the time in center. And now you're going to have Burden right, Chisenhall, and you know they may have too many outfielders.
Well, once Michael Brantley really gets going, he's not going to be out of the lineup very often. So Davis is going to have to maybe spell Naquin every now and again in center and maybe play some right. Unless Terry wants to occasionally, you know, use Michael in the DH spot. But, you know, once Michael Brantley's at full capacity, he's going to be out there every day. That's the way he normally rolls. Another full count. And this is not a guy you want to be throwing a full count up to.
No, this is where you really want to get some outs on 3 pitches or less. That'll keep you in the game a lot longer. It seems like the first 2 innings he was free and easy, and now it seems like, you know, maybe he's getting a little quicker with the delivery.
Oh my. You give the opposing pitcher the benefit of the doubt on that call. Velasquez draws a walk. He was 1 for 8 with 6 strikeouts coming into this at bat. And that's a pretty good pitch to be calling at ball 4.
Yeah. No rhyme or reason. That's the first base runner for the Phillies. Look at Salazar saying, are you kidding me?
So 1 on, 1 out for Peter Borges. And there's a called strike. Borges 1 out of 5 in the series with a double. The pitcher Velasquez donning the jacket at first base.
Well, I can see today because it is damp, chilly, and drizzling.
That was a check swing. 2-1.
Well, again, those pitches down in the zone, we'll see umpires, and I've noticed it this year where it seems like they're not calling as many low strikes as they used to. It just seems like that to me. Seen different crews in different games where it just happens.
Popped up, back out of play. The 2-2. And it's low, full count.
Another full count.
3 straight. And the 3-2 is ripped to left, a base hit. Velasquez stops at second, and the Phillies have their first hit of the afternoon.
Well, Danny wasn't going to walk this guy. You can't walk the pitcher and then come back and walk the 9th place hitter, so he throws one right down the middle, and Borges jumps on it. Gets the first hit for the Phillies this afternoon. It'll push runners to first and second and come back to the top of the lineup.
Two on, one out for Odubel Herrera, who flied to center his only time up. And that fastball took off 1-0. Herrera
Good
chased
pitch.
a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, let her high, could not catch up to that.
Tied him up inside. This guy has a lot of movements into that swing. Once he gets started, you know, look at the big leg kick. He pulls it all the way back, and that ball is in the glove by the time he can get those hands out in front. So that's not a bad place to pitch him, is up and in right there. I don't see how he can get the barrel head of the bat to the baseball with that big kick and as hard as Salazar throws. Change up
To left field.
You speed up his bat.
Davis over near the line makes the catch, and there are two down. Well, we were talking about the Indians' defense and how center field has sort of been a work in progress with a lot of different people going in and out. Let's bring in Andre Knott with more on that.
Well, Tyler Naquin took last night's win pretty tough because he wasn't happy about the ball that fell in front of him. And talking to Terry Francona today, he says Brad Mills is still working on him to almost play on the balls of his feet a little bit, almost like if you're playing defense in basketball. And you got to read the ball off the bat, but sometimes you got to have a feel for who's up the bat. And they felt like that may have been his issue last night.
And here's Freddie Galvis. Back out of play.
Well, that's all part of playing, you know, knowing the hitters at the major league level. It takes some time. Never played in this ballpark before. You had David Lowe, a pinch hitter, coming up in that situation. And you can play a little shallower with him, even though it's a tie game. And his first step when you play shallow can't be breaking back. It's all part of the learning process up here at the major league level.
One ball, one strike with 2 on and 2 out here in the third. No score. Freddie Galvis struck out his first time up. First of 5 consecutive strikeouts. First time through the order for Danny Salazar. First time through the order. Phillies were just 1 for 8 against Danny. A line drive base hit into center field. So the 2-out RBI single will give Philadelphia the 1-0 lead here in the third as Galvis delivers his 11th RBI on the year, and that's his 4th driven in the series.
So that walk to the pitcher certainly comes back and hurts Salazar with a 2-out base hit. Throws that fastball middle of the plate. Galvis reacts, puts a short swing on it, gets the base hit, and Phillies strike first. His 11th RBI, and the inning's still going.
Maikel Franco to the plate. And a good off-speed pitch, drops in for a strike. And he chased a breaking ball that time. It's 0-2. Offensively, Philly is nothing to write home about. They're 12th in the National League in batting average, or 14th in runs scored. But when you get the kind of pitching that they've been getting here lately, and then you couple that with some timely hits, which they've been able to get, then all of a sudden you've got a 5-game win streak.
Well, that's what we've seen in this series. Anytime they get somebody on, when they do, they take advantage of it. A 2-out base hit, scores in this run, had a big home run in the first game when it counted.
Well, they've been able to get to that magic 4-run number. Tough to win consistently in the major leagues when you score 3. That's where the Indians have sort of been stuck on a number of times. But when you get to 4, it really changes dramatically your chances of getting into that win column. Phillies breaking through with their only run here in this 3rd inning. An inning that changed dramatically when Velasquez was awarded first base on a 3-2 pitch that looked like it was strike 3.
Nice block.
Ryan Howard lurking on deck. Will he get a chance to bat with 2 outs? You better hope not, because if he does, there's a chance the bases would be loaded. If this ends up being a situation where Franco earns a walk.
Oh,
Danny ended up stopping in the middle of his delivery.
Slid on the rubber
and box home a run.
It looks like that foot slipped off the rubber. He couldn't throw the baseball, and it'll be a balk, and a run will score. I don't know if he's going to need any drying agent out there or what, but check his foot, see if it slips off the rubber. He comes up, he's set, he's going to, there it is. Do you see it move?
Yep.
Do you see it? That the toe just slipped and it kicked over where it came off of the rubber.
Kind of forced his front leg to come down quicker than he wanted to, and then at that point, I guess he had no choice but to hold on to it.
Yeah. No telling where he would have threw it.
So it's 2-0 Philadelphia, and Galvis goes into scoring position. And that slider's popped back into the crowd. And this one's popped up on the infield right in front of the plate. Ramirez, the third baseman, will make the catch to end the inning. But the Phillies strike for a pair and lead it 2-0. Lindor, Carlos Santana, and Yan Gomes due for the Indians here in the fourth. And a pitch up high, ball one. Lindor, a 2-out single in the first inning, giving him 4 hits in the weekend. Low with the fastball.
We're talking about the haze and the clouds moving around. Try and find downtown now. You can't see it.
Gone. He gone.
It is. It's long gone. We just showed you that about an inning or two ago, and you were able to see the buildings.
And a pitch just above the belt, called a strike. Ends up walking him. So for the second time today, the Indians get their leadoff man aboard. Here's an in-game update with Al Pawlowski. All right, thanks, Al. Lindor aboard to start the fourth inning with the Indians down 2 runs. And Carlos Santana at the plate. He hit the ball hard his first time up, but right into the glove of Ryan Howard at first base. Down low, 2-0, and out goes Cameron Rupp.
Yeah, Velasquez having a tough time finding the strike zone right now. They were out in between innings, and you know, they looked and I think they asked if they wanted any drying agent out there. He didn't want any. You can see it's starting to get a little messy.
Well, he was out. He had to run the bases.
Yeah. I mean, before he started throwing his warm-ups, he was digging out his cleats, but he said he didn't want any drying agents, so that's his prerogative.
I mean, you can say, well, Velasquez is a National League guy. He's used to this, but that's only the second time he's been on base when he's been hitting this year.
Well, they were able to take advantage of their base runners in that walk and see if the Indians can do it now with their first 2 reach.
Well, this is one of those days, Rick, where I understand that, you know, the Indians are not coming back to Philadelphia, and there's a real desire to get this game in. But this is way less than ideal conditions to play a game in. I mean, it hasn't stopped precipitating. Now, surely it's not pouring down rain. This can't be a whole lot of fun out there.
Well, here comes the umpire. He's going to go out there. Well, maybe just to get McClure off the mound.
Yeah, he's out of time.
You know, what is it? You know, here comes the drying agent now. What is it when we come to the state of Pennsylvania? It seems like every time we go to Pittsburgh, it rains. Every time we come here, it rains. Remember one of the last times we were here when they had the tarp on the field, the tornadoes came in and blew that tractor around?
Yeah. This is, I don't want to say it's a problem because it's the nature of baseball in general, but, you know, when you have these I mean, people talk about it in interleague play. Well, it's the same situation with teams you play outside of your own division. When you only play them one time in that city,
right,
there's nowhere to make up the game unless you completely throw everybody's travel schedules off, and you've got to try to find a mutual off day, such as going to be the case with Boston when they come to Cleveland later this summer.
Yeah, exactly. There's 2010 when we were here. Look at that. I mean, that was unbelievable. And that thing, they had a tractor down there. And watch this. Here you go.
Like a little tinker toy.
Yeah, it was. We ended up going to the airport, and there were trees down. It was a nasty storm.
And people should be reminded that when that day began, it was bright blue, sunshiny day. And when that storm rolled in, it was like midnight.
Yes, it was. Well, but you know what? I mean, a lot of teams are dealing with this. There was, the Cubs in Atlanta were rained out yesterday. We've already had 3 cancellations to this point. It's just been a tough April so far. And the month of May is not starting out much better.
Yan Gomes fouled out on the only pitch he saw his first time up, takes a strike here. In the dirt, nice block by Rupp. Just a little bit low. And I tell you, Velasquez is having a tough time here today.
Well,
but the Indians haven't made him pay.
No, it's 4 walks already, and he started the game in 25 1/3 innings with 6 walks.
There's a fastball right down the slot, but he pops it up.
Fair ball, infield fly rule.
All right. They're talking it over down there. Mission accomplished, though. Let's go down to Andre. I mean, this hasn't been a whole lot of fun for the hitters. I don't know if it's worse for the hitters or the pitchers when it gets like this.
Well, it's a good question. And we had a couple national writers that were in town today talking with Terry Francona along with us, and they brought up weather and what it does to offense. And Terry, basically said, I'm never going to make excuses for my guys, but it's not easy to hit in this type of weather. He goes, a pitcher's moving the whole time. He's warm. He goes, but our guys really haven't been able to hit in cages. He goes, and you can look across the way. Philadelphia's had the same thing. So he says after about 100 at-bats, he hopes his team begins to hit a little bit better and the strikeouts go down. But he thinks the weather helps slow down a lot of the teams on the East Coast offensively early.
Well, I would agree with that, and that's usually when the weather should start getting a little better after 100 at-bats. It doesn't matter when you start.
Tyler Naquin, swing and a miss.
Redbird told me something interesting. Our 2 warmest dates that we've had, not including inside, because we were down in Tampa for 3 games, but we're in Cleveland. We had a 63-degree day and a 60-degree day, and that was the 2 warmest days that we've had so far this whole year.
Well, I don't believe we've seen 60 degrees on this road trip. We've had a couple of days where it's been in the upper 50s, and that was maybe generous. But we've seen 40s.
Packed for like hunting season, and we were right.
I didn't see your Elmer Fudd hat, though. The 0-1. Naquin pops it back out of play, and the count 0-2. They claimed it was 58 last night. That would have been the warmest temperature on the road trip, but I don't know where they're getting some of these temperatures.
Well, it's just been damp, really damp.
Might have been 58 in the dining room.
Minnesota was the same way.
Minnesota was in the 40s. That was really cold there. Here's a 2-strike pitch, not a Naquin. And he strikes him out. Boy, after back-to-back walks to start the inning, Velasquez gets some drying agent out there on the mound, and it's like he's a different guy.
Well, let's see that high fastball. You see the target. He's hitting that one, and you get the swing and miss. That ball gets by him. So he gets 2 quick outs on the pop-up, the strikeout. 1 more to go. We'll see if the Indians can get their 2-out base hit and get on the board.
Hanging breaking ball, line to left, and a diving catch by Ruff. Velasquez loves it. The Indians strand a pair. And after 3.5, the Phillies lead it 2-0. Something to smile about.
It sure is. He made a bad pitch. He hung a breaking ball. Rajai Davis put it right in play, hit it right on the nose, but is saved by a good defensive play by Ruff. And it was a nice play, and you can see the frustration. Boy, you do your job, you hit it, and they make a nice play, and it's out number 3. So he gets out of that inning after walking the first 2 unscathed.
Each pitcher has given up 2 hits, but Salazar has been charged with 2 runs. Ryan Howard struck out his only time up in the 2nd inning. Lifted out of play to the left. Ryan Howard had his 6th career walk-off home run in the series opener. And Salazar throws it right by him upstairs with a heater. And that's his 6th strikeout of the afternoon.
Well, Danny, early he had 5 consecutive strikeouts. He was free and easy and was had it all working. The breaking stuff was right there. The change-ups were working real well. The breaking ball, and now he gets Howard on the fastball. Well, it was just a walk that got him out of whack a little bit last inning. See if he could stay free and easy and just get back into that groove again.
Jammed him and a roller to short. Lindor flips it over, and we've got 2 down. The $13 district ticket presented by Sports Time Ohio includes your very first drink. Grab some friends, catch the game from the corner or the new drink rails in left field. District tickets available only online at Indians.com/district ticket. 2 gone for Darren Ruff, who struck out his only time up. And a high fastball. Fastball is poked out of play, 2-1.
Came in there with a pretty good 95-mile-an-hour fastball that he couldn't catch up to, and that was with a 2-0 count as well.
Over the glove of Salazar. Kipnis flips it over, and the Phillies go 1-2-3 for the 3rd time in 4 innings. But the one time they didn't, they scored their 2, and that's the score after 4. And mattresses, shop Levin's. By your Northern Ohio Honda dealers. By the Cleveland Clinic, access anytime, anywhere. And by T-Mobile, get major league coverage. T-Mobile has doubled its 4G LTE in the last year. Two 2-0 Philadelphia as we go to the 5th inning. Lonnie Chisenhall to lead off, and the pitch is down and in for ball 1. Chisenhall flied to center in the 2nd. Indians had a hit in each of the first 2 innings. None since then. They've had 3 base runners, all via the walk. 4 issued in all today from the right-hander Vincent Velasquez. And a good fastball gets him ahead 1-2. Took off on him. Yeah, he throws it by him upstairs with a heater. 4th strikeout for the Phillies right-hander. One down here in the 5th.
Well, you're going to see a high fastball running away. That's one he's not going to catch up to. Had to reach for it, probably out of the zone. But that'll be out number 1 here in the 5th.
Danny Salazar looks at a strike. Hard to believe when you watch Vincent Velasquez throw right now at this point in his career that at one time when he was just 18 years old, he was just about ready to cash in and take it on home. He strikes out Danny Salazar, but he had to deal with Tommy John surgery like so many young pitchers have to in the game of baseball. But while he was going through the rehab process and the long, arduous, tedious tasks that come with that, he said he was just emotionally drained, just done. But while he was doing his rehab, he talked to Doug Brocail, who had undergone 2 Tommy John surgeries during his 15-year career. And 6 of those 15 seasons came after his 2nd Tommy John operation.
No kidding, yeah.
And he said, after hearing Doug Brocail's story, I said, well, what am I doing feeling sorry for myself? This guy's been through it twice and he came back and pitched.
Sort of a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Just to see a different perspective or hear a different perspective when you're down and out.
Sometimes that's all you need.
I'm not sure if Brocail's still in that organization or not.
With Houston?
Yes, I would assume he is.
The 1-1. A little bit high.
We'll find out because after our homestand, we head to Houston
Yeah.
for 3 games. So
hopefully the Astros haven't righted the ship by then. They're up early on Oakland, 1-0 in the 1st.
He cannot throw Ramirez a strike. He is having a tough time today.
And a chopper to first. Howard with the flip. And the Indians are retired in order. Halfway through, Phillies 2, Cleveland 0. On Tuesday night at Progressive Field, it's a 6:05 first pitch time between Cleveland and Detroit, fresh off their first sweep of the Tigers in 8 years. We'll have all the action for you on Sports Time Ohio with Indians Live beginning our coverage at 5:30. Home half of the fifth, bottom third of the order. Cesar Hernandez leading off. Vince Velasquez due up next, and then Peter Borges.
This is how the lineup fell when they ended up scoring their 2 runs back in the 3rd inning. 7, 8, 9.
Now foul back. I'm not sure how many full counts this has been for Danny Salazar, but it's at least 3 or 4.
Well, and it seems like they're down at the bottom part of the lineup. He messes around with the hitters where you got to go after him and get him out on 3 pitches or less.
And a walk to Cesar Hernandez. In-game recap brought to you by your Toyota dealers. Freddie Galvis with an RBI single. That came with 2 outs in the 3rd inning, and then the inadvertent balk by Danny Salazar when he lost his footing.
Yeah, that's been it.
Now Vincent Velasquez. Velasquez is ambidextrous, but I'm not sure if he can pitch with his other hand.
Well, that's hard to do.
Where's the bunt? Gets it down, but it's foul. What was that guy? Was it Pat
Vendetti?
Yeah.
He's with Toronto, isn't he? He's with the Toronto Blue Jays, yes. Came up with Oakland.
He's a guy who can truly pitch with either hand.
Yeah, either hand. Yeah, he's got the glove that would go on either hand, no question.
Ramirez in on the grass at 3rd as Velasquez will once again try and get a bunt down. With a 2-0 lead, this is a pretty safe bet. He's 1 out of 6 or 1 out of 8 with 6 strikeouts. So not much of a hitter. And not showing bunt, takes a strike.
That's surprising. They put the bunt on and then they take it off. And now he's down 0-2. So what do you do now? Try and bunt him again or let him swing away?
All 4 of Danny Salazar's full counts today have come to the 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah,
hitters.
that's what I'm figuring. I don't know what he does. Whether he tries to trick the bottom part of the lineup or what, but just go at him. That's
puts it in play. They get 1 at 2nd, and they do turn 2. Nicely done by Francisco Lindor. He had to really hang in there with Hernandez bearing down on him.
The long flip by Kipnis, but he gives it up high enough, and a nice job of staying in there with the pitcher running. They're able to turn it. So I don't understand that with the pitcher up there. They put on the bunt one time and let it go the next. It ends up hitting into the double play.
That That one might have been interesting to see what the Indians would have done had that not been turned on the other end. Not that there wasn't contact, but just the way that Hernandez kind of wrapped up Lindor by the leg. I don't think it was anything intentional, but it would have been interesting to see what they might have done there. I saw another instance of that where there was a double play and the team that had it, I'm trying to remember who it was.
Was it the White Sox game?
Team didn't turn a double play. But we'll get into that when we come back. Inning over. And through 5, it's still Philadelphia 2, Cleveland nothing.
Well, season tickets offer the best perks, including savings and access to Tribe Rewards. And today's Tribe Rewards TV code is Napoli. You can visit Indians.com season tickets for complete details.
So yeah, that play last night, it was Baltimore and Chicago. And the runner going to second slid in. Brett Lawrie took the throw, got the force, didn't throw to first, but the runner, when he slid in, grabbed him by the foot.
Right.
And so Robin Ventura said, we want to review that. We think there was interference. Jerry Davis sent it to the replay guys, and they came back and said no. And Robin came back and said, oh, wait a minute. And he got thrown out of the game because you're not allowed to come back and argue after a replay. But it was very similar to the Jose Bautista deal early in the year, which got everybody all riled up.
Yeah. Well, we're going to run into that. It's still the first month of the season. We'll see how that shakes out as it goes on. We haven't seen anything like that yet.
No.
But like you said, it would have been interesting to see if they didn't turn that double play.
Yeah, I think in that instance there wouldn't have been anything to overturn it because he slid directly into the bag. Even though there was contact, you can still make contact as long as you don't
overslide,
deviate your slide path.
Right.
Kipnis fouls it on a play to the left. And that ball ran. You could see the Velasquez fastball started out maybe in the middle of the plate, but it just ran off to the other side.
And they wanted it upstairs where they're throwing a lot of the left-handers for the Indians. This one's coming down.
That breaking ball is pulled foul over by the Philly dugout. Two balls, two strikes. Kipnis leading off this sixth for Cleveland. They go to the high fastball, and he pops it back out of play. Wants a little extra tack on this.
You don't blame
day.
him. He's up there. He's doing a nice job of hanging in there, falling off of quite a few pitches. But trying to get him to throw that fastball up, throw it in, and he continues to foul him off.
Hey, one thing about Cameron Rupp, when he sets a target, man, it's not hard to see, is it?
No.
He spreads that glove wide open, says, right here, baby. Nothing subtle about it. Especially when he wants it in a certain spot, a specific target. Now this one's a breaking ball. No, fastball. Look at that. Boom. And again, Kipnis fouls it off.
This is a good job by Kipnis to stay alive, just fouling off some tough pitches to handle. That's what you have to do if you're going to get those high fastballs and swing at them. You certainly can't try to pull them. You just foul them off, and he's done a wonderful job. Now you hope he makes a mistake.
He wants him to back off and start over.
It's either that. I thought he was going to say, throw
Just
what you
throw
want.
You pick one.
That's right. I've tried everything I know how.
Well, it's the 11th pitch of the at-bat.
Look at this, and it continues. I'll tell you, there's been about 5 or 6 people up in that third deck to get some foul balls up in the same area.
This at-bat alone is going to force Philadelphia to get the bullpen up. As Velasquez runs close to the 100 pitch mark here to open up the 6th inning. And a breaking ball in the dirt, full count. Well, if Kipnis gets his way on base here, he will definitely have earned it. And a bouncer foul. So we will go to 14 pitches in this at-bat.
Yeah, what an at-bat. It's got to end in a hit or a walk. He's got to get on base. He's worked too hard. He has seen just about everything that he has to offer.
There are rounds of BP that don't last this long. Popped him up. Shallow left, out goes Galvis. He's called off by Ruff. One away.
Good at bat. Didn't come up with anything, but he worked him, and I mean worked him hard.
And now Francisco Lindor, who is perfect on the afternoon with a single and a walk. Minnesota has opened up a 5-2 lead on the Tigers. They're in the 6th at Target Field. White Sox in the 9th inning lead Baltimore 6-1. Kansas City and Seattle just underway out in the Pacific Northwest. Lindor swinging a miss, 1-1. Well, the Indians will have to rally back if they want to cool off Philly, but it looks like some other teams are cooling off the torrid NL East. Giants lead the Mets 6-1 in the 9th. Milwaukee beating up Miami 11-4. They're in the 6th. A little bit low. Washington shutting out St. Louis. They're in the 8th, 4-0 Nationals. Lindor fouling it out of play. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Just 2 hits for the Tribe today. A single in the first by Lindor with 2 outs. A 1-out single by Tyler Naquin in the second. And that's been it. Couple of walks sprinkled in here and there. 7 in a row set down though right now by Vincent Velasquez. And make it 8 straight. And that's strikeout number 6. 2 down here in the 6th inning.
Down and away. I think Lindor knew it. Everybody knew it. Right there, outside edge, 96. Painted. Good pitch. 4 walks, 6 strikeouts now for Velasquez, and I would assume this would be his last inning of work.
Carlos Santana walked his last time up. He's the last Indians batter to reach base in the 4th. High pop, right field near the line into foul territory now. The second baseman Hernandez grabs it, and Velasquez cruises through the 6th. Stream them live on your mobile device. Just go to the App Store, download the free Fox Sports Go app, log in, and stream the Indians wherever you go. We are going to the bottom of the 6th there in Philadelphia, where the Phillies lead it 2-0. And the top of the order will feature Odubel Herrera, Freddie Galvis, and Maikel Franco. Herrera has flied out twice today. His 3-headed streak on the line here as we get into the latter stages of this game. He's been on base safely in 21 straight. He's scored in 7 straight. He's got an 11-game hitting streak.
Yeah.
Fly ball, routines left center field, and Naquin grabs it for out number 1.
Well, we are going to return home next week. We'll have a 6-game homestand First one starting out with Detroit, but next weekend, Kansas City Royals will be coming to town for the first time this year. Come on out and check out the world champs, Eric Hosmer, Perez, and the rest of the Kansas City Royals for the weekend. You can go to Indians.com and get your tickets.
Freddie Galvis. And takes a strike. 30 years between world championships for the Kansas City Royals.
Well, and they're struggling right now, as you mentioned, 5-game losing streak, and they're in Seattle to end up their road trip, and this is their final trip west for the whole year. They're done as of today. They will never go back to the West Coast because they already played the Angels, the A's, and now Seattle.
Well, Detroit came back. They've tied up Minnesota 5-5. They're in the 6th with Target Field. Fouled off by Galvis. Three-run homer by Nick Castellanos in the 6th. Tied that game up for Detroit. Strike 3 called, and Galvis is strikeout victim number 7 of Danny Salazar's here this afternoon. 2 down in the 6th.
Well, you look at this one and you say there's no way that's a strike. But guess what? He called it a strike. Well, it looked like it had to play from that angle more so than it did the other angle, that's for sure. Still looked a little high, but I'll tell you, it wasn't as bad looking at it from the high angle.
Big chopper to third. Jose Ramirez. Perfect feed across the diamond, and the Phillies go 1-2-3. 6 in the books. Philadelphia 2, Cleveland nothing. Baseball is brought to you by the injury lawyers at Elk & Elk, proud partner of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK Ohio. And by Ford, built Ford tough. Back here in Philadelphia, the Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen has been made by Philadelphia. And they go to right-hander David Hernandez here in the 7th inning. In the process, they do the old double switch.
Like they've done every game here.
Blanco has come into the ball game. He goes into the pitcher spot. He'll bat 8th. And the pitcher goes into Maikel Franco's spot, who made the last out in the 6th inning. So David Hernandez takes over after Vincent Velasquez pitched 6 shutout innings here today. 2 hits. He did walk 4, struck out 6. But the Indians unable to take advantage of any of those free passes here today. High fly ball into center field. And Odubel Herrera grabs it one away. The Indians' best chance that they had happened in the 4th when the first 2 walked and reached. They were on base with nobody out. Yan Gomes popped up, Tyler Naquin struck out, and Rajai Davis hit a line drive to left that Darren Ruff made a diving catch on to end the inning.
Well, look at that bullpen for the Phillies in their win streak. 16 consecutive innings without allowing a run, and 18 overall. And we've seen it. This guy came in and pitched 2 innings the other night. Ended up getting the win and had 4 strikeouts in his 2 innings.
That scoreless inning streak, the longest in baseball this year by the Phillies bullpen, so they've been very good. And they're doing it with a guy who's not really a closer. I mean, Jenmar Gomez is the closer by default, really.
Yes, that is true. And from what we've seen over the weekend, I would say I saw a lot of better arms coming out of that bullpen that you would think, well, maybe this guy could close. But Gomez is the closer. He didn't have the best stuff. But it's a mentality sometimes when you have to close out ball games and get the final 3 outs, as we all know. It's not that easy.
And to me, as Naquin swings through it, that is one of the great examples in the game of baseball where analytics doesn't kind of mesh up or doesn't line up to where conventional wisdom or
that's true.
What do you call it? The immeasurables, or the things that you can't measure, the intangibles, whatever you want to call them. Because if you just went by the analytics, you'd probably line up 8 other guys in that Philly bullpen and say, here's your closer.
Yeah, if you were just looking at the eye test.
Naquin goes chasing, and that's the one chink in his armor that opposing pitchers are starting to expose, that his inability to just lay off that high pitch.
Something he's going to have to learn to do. Well, a lot of the hitters have done that. That's a pitch that you see very well out of his hands, but you're not going to hit it. It's not a strike, but you continue to swing at it. They will keep it there until you make an adjustment. Here's a guy that really had the best chance the last time he was up. He caught a hanging slider, had a chance to get a base hit and get him on the board, and then Ruff made a nice catch on him to take a base hit away from him with 2 outs in that 4th inning that you were talking about.
Rajai is getting his hacks in, though. I'll tell you one thing, getting his money's worth. He just hasn't been able to connect for a hit to this point in the game. 1 out of 8 in the series. And finally, he's got a knock on a solid line drive up the gut. It comes with 2 outs in the inning.
Yeah, that's 2 out of their 3 now, coming with 2 outs. And I'll tell you, Hernandez almost flagged this one down. It was hit right on the nose. He put a nice short swing on a line drive, and Hernandez goes up, and it just misses his glove going into right center field. So a 2-out single now. That'll give Chisenhall an opportunity. I see Bird is already in the on-deck circle.
Lonnie Chisenhall 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Jeff Manship up in the Indians bullpen. I didn't see where Danny was at pitch count wise. If Chisenhall doesn't keep the inning alive, I wonder if Danny would go back out to pitch the bottom half of this inning. He's at 93 pitches, so he could possibly go back out.
I would think so. If they want him to.
The Manship getting ready either way. David Hernandez with a good fastball. It's 0-1. Yeah, Salazar looks like he's staying hot. Rajay drives a throw, and it was very close at first base.
He missed the tag. It looked like they had him. They missed the tag. He tried to get his walking lead. He had a short lead, and then Hernandez was holding. Watch him edge off, and watch how Howard, I don't think, tagged him, did he? He gets to the back part of the base here. Oh, it was. If he tagged him, it looked like he was out. I don't know if he tagged him. I saw.
I think he did.
Okay, they're gonna review it. That's worth it. We see. I didn't. When he sweeped it, I thought I saw some daylight, but they're thinking, that's close enough to take a peek at it at first base, so they can end this inning, is what they're looking for.
I think on that last look we had, it looked like he might have caught him on the elbow.
Nicked him on the yeah.
Oh, I don't know, Rick. That's really close.
I know it is. It is very close. They're looking up at the.
I think he just might have nicked it.
It looks like the edge of that glove did get the shirt from what they showed us on the scoreboard. Well, the fans are clapping, but that doesn't necessarily mean New York's agreeing with it.
Now, I know I have read in the rule book, it can't be one of the strings on the glove. It's got to be actually the glove, not a little piece of the string hanging off of it.
Well, I don't know if there's a string up there on the webbing. We'll see.
I mean, that's how close that was.
Isn't it funny how when they go into replay, all the players start talking to each other and they give their own overview of what happened and what they think. And even the guy that's tagged out or whoever's involved in the play, they've got their opinion.
I think he's out. Unfortunately, I think that last angle,
that's what we were looking at. It looked like like I said, if he tagged him, he was out. And we're going to find out here shortly, because they're getting ready to take the headsets off. He is out.
So Davis picked off to end the top half of the 7th inning. We've reached the 7th inning stretch in Philadelphia, and the Indians are on the verge of being swept by the hometown Phils. at first base. Just barely grazed him.
He sure did. Just nicked him. But it was enough to overturn the call. And that was the third out. He was on first base. Don't know if he was trying to steal. He didn't really take that the break, but Howard applied the tag barely. But it was a good challenge for Philly because then they end that inning. Now they don't have to worry about it. They came in. They were high-fiving each other.
And for Philadelphia, Ryan Howard will lead it off. Just struck out twice against Danny Salazar. Jeff Manship continuing to stay warm in the Indians bullpen. And Howard takes a breaking ball for a strike. Now the 0-2 and missed outside. Swung out and missed. Danny Salazar has struck out Ryan Howard for the third time on the afternoon. 8 Ks in all.
Well, there you go. You get geared up for a 95-mile-an-hour heater. You got to get it started. But that changeup was in a very good spot. You can see Howard is way out front. He's had his number today. 3 straight punch-outs against Ryan Howard.
Cameron Rupp to the plate, 0 for 2. That's out of play to the right. Time called. Drive, base hit into center field. One out single for Philadelphia. It's only the third hit for the Phillies today and their first hit since they had 2 hits in the third, in which they scored the only runs of this ball game. Miller time brought to you by Miller Lite. Rajai Davis with a line drive in the left field and rough. Made the catch. Yeah, he had the best scoring chance on the day.
Yeah, they had a couple men on base. That was 2 outs. It takes a base hit away from him. And that was a mistake pitch, but he got away with it.
Well, as I said before, Philadelphia hasn't done much offensively to really write home about. But it's the timely hits, and here again today they only have 3 knocks, but somehow they've got 2 runs on the board, and the way they've been pitching, that's all they've needed.
Well, this should be a 1-0 ball game because Salazar balked in the second run when he slipped off the mound and couldn't deliver the pitch, and that's how they got run number 2. Philadelphia, they end up going out on a 10-day trip after today's game.
Could be 2. Ramirez to second. There's 1. Kipnis on to first. Double play ends the inning. 7 complete. It's the Phillies 2, the Indians nothing. reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. Danny Salazar finishes his day with 7 innings of work. Just 2 runs allowed, but he's on the hook right now for a loss unless the Indians can rally here in the last 2 innings. David Hernandez will stay on for a 2nd inning of relief work. And Lonnie Chisenhall will lead it off. Marlon Byrd will pinch hit for Salazar. And then Jose Ramirez due up 3rd. And that pitch outside, ball 1. One and 1 to count. This is a Philadelphia bullpen that has now strung together 19 consecutive scoreless innings. Degrees and rainy at game time. The rain is finally dissipated. It took a good 5, maybe 6 innings before it dried up. But it's left everything pretty well soaked.
Well, give the fans credit. They've been sitting here through it all with their slickers sitting on, their heads covered, trying to stay warm.
In the dirt, 2-2. I wonder if any of these people ran the race today and then came here for the game.
I'm saying yes. I would think yes. Might have stayed dressed in the same garb. That's what they were running today.
The 2-2. And Lonnie with a chopper in the hole. And cut off by Hernandez, but he bobbles it, and Lonnie's safe at first. And on the errant throw, he's going to go to second base.
Well, he made 2 mistakes there. He couldn't catch it the first time. So that's going to be an error right there on Hernandez, and then makes a wild throw.
Oh, 2 errors on the play. Even though he had to go a long way to get to it, they're saying he was in front of it, so he should have made that play.
Yeah, he never fielded it cleanly, and then really compounds it by throwing the ball away. Did they give him 2?
They gave him 2 errors.
Okay, an error for not making the play, and then an error on the throw for letting him reach second base.
So Cesar Hernandez charged with 2 errors on the same play. And now Marlon Byrd to the plate. Byrd. .264 average on the year, cuts through that pitch. He's 0 for 2 as a pinch hitter. Marlon loves that first pitch. If it's something that he's looking for, if it's in the neighborhood, he likes it. He's getting after it. That one's just off the plate. Get a guy on base, and he seems to really elevate his intensity, his focus. He's gone 7 for 19 with a guy on base. Not necessarily in scoring position, but just on base in general.
There's hitters that love to hit with runners on base. That concentration level zones in. The veteran likes it. Well, they gave him a start to the inning. We'll see if they can take advantage of it. Trying to do something that hasn't happened in a long time, and that's score on the bullpen of the Phillies.
Down low. Yeah, Marlon Byrd works the count back to even at 2-2. And a well-placed fastball by David Hernandez. Down and away at the knees, outside corner. So tough to spoil if you're a hitter. And that's going to be the second strikeout for Hernandez, one down here in the inning. As we look back at our keys to the game, brought to you by Mazda. Indians unable to scratch out anything against the starter, Vincent Velasquez. That's a problem because this bullpen has been unscored upon in their last 19+ innings of work. Couple of walks for Jose Ramirez on the afternoon. Broke his bat, rolls it to third. Andres Blanco throws him out, 2 down. We'll give Jason Kipnis a chance to bat here with runner in scoring position and 2 down. Kip 0 for 3 here this afternoon. He has been the Indians' go-to guy in the series, though, when you consider that the Indians have scored 6 runs so far this weekend, and Kipnis has driven in 4 of them. They continue to really work him
upstairs, and a lot of hard stuff. Yes, he had a great at bat, even though he made an out his last time up when he battled Velasquez to what, about a 14-pitch at bat. He fouled off a number of pitches.
Philadelphia pitching staff came in #1 in the National League, 245 strikeouts. Eight more so far here today. They came in as a staff, averaging 10 per 9 innings of work. They've got a chance to get to that number here today before it's all said and done. The 2-1 pitch. Good point. Runner at second, 2 down. Indians down 2 in the 8th. And the 2-2 pitch to Kipnis is hit in the air to left center. Ruff and Herrera converge. Ruff makes the catch. And the inning is over. Tribe can't take advantage of that opening error. And we'll head to the bottom of the 8th, 2-0. Jeff Manship will come on to pitch here in the bottom of the 8th inning. He's worked in 8 games, has not allowed a run.
Pitched in Friday night's game, pitched a third of an inning, gave up a couple of hits, also had a walk, but didn't give up any runs. They were able to come in and get out of it. He's going to face Hernandez, Blanco, and Borges.
Right back to him. And Jeff will flip it to first. 1 away. Our Pat O'Brien play of the game in the 3rd inning. A very close pitch called ball 4, and the pitcher walks. Then Peter Borges wraps a base hit in a left field, and then with 2 outs, Freddie Galvis drives home the pitcher with the game's first run, and then a slip on the mound with a runner at 3rd, and on that balk, the 2nd run comes home, and that's been all the scoring today.
That's a big bonus run right there, even though you look at it now, it was earlier in the game back in the 3rd inning. Because now you've got to get a base runner on to tie the game, as opposed to one guy could if it was a 1-0 ball game.
Outside corner, it's a called strike. Andres Blanco drives one to deep right field. Chisenhall plays it off the wall. Blanco into second base, and he'll not stop there. The throw to 3rd, it is safe to call. It'll be a triple for Blanco. Chisenhall's throw overshot the initial cutoff man, Jason Kipnis. The trailer, Lindor, almost made a terrific play to get him.
Yeah, you're right. It goes off the wall and it sort of hits and it short hops. And by the time he picks it up, overthrows Kipnis. So you have the trailer. That made it all the way to the infielder. He got it in as quickly as he could, but he just does get the hand in. You're going to get a look at it here.
Wow,
that's
pretty close.
Yeah,
too.
we're behind the play. It's hard to tell, but there's no challenge. The infield's going to come in. You know, you wonder if you hit your cutoff man straight up, 2 good throws, you probably get him at 3rd, because he never kicked it into gear until he started around 2nd base.
Peter Borges on the squeeze play. They've got him hung up between 3rd and home. In the rundown, Ramirez gives it up to Santana, who tags him out, and there are 2 down.
First pitch with Borges up and 1 out. That's the time you do it. With 1 out there, and they wasted no time. And it really, Borges, nothing he could do. It was a pitch out, so they knew something was up. You see Gomes get out, and they read something right there. It was the perfect time to do it. They had the right hitter up. Smart thing over there. They called for a pitch out on the Indian side, and they called it right.
2-5-3 on the putout. And a foul back.
Well, that's a nice save right there. How about
Lazy
that?
pop to shallow right. Lonnie Chisenhall makes the catch, and that will end the inning. We'll go to the 9th. Last chance for the Indians, down 2. Santana and Yan Gomes if the Indians are to get on the board before the weekend comes to a close here this afternoon, and Hector Neris will come on and try to close it out.
Yeah, that's the splitter. David Lowe goes into the game in left field.
About that, you take out the guy that's already made the play of the game defensively.
Yeah, well, probably Lowe runs a little bit better, covers a little more ground. They've got a splitter, Mr. Split, going out to the mound, who has a bunch of punch outs, and it's tough to hit the ball in the air off this guy.
Francisco Lindor looks, it's outside for ball one.
He had 3 strikeouts the other night and an inning and a third. But they need a base runner to get the tying run to the plate.
Neris, 14 career saves in the minor leagues, but he's never had one in the big leagues. And that's a generous call, 2-1.
Well, he's been calling the pitch up more so than he has down today.
And fouled back by Lindor, 2-2. And home plate umpire Larry Vanover says Lindor got a piece of that, and the ball hit the dirt, so he stays alive. That, I mean, by just
that's
a fraction of an inch.
Well, that's hard to tell from the camera angle, but I'll tell you what, certainly take it. You can see the downward movement on that pitch.
For some reason, before this 2-2 pitch, the third baseman Blanco wanted to tell Neris something. Pulled that foul just wide of the bag. Popped him up. The shortstop Galvis settles under it. 1 away. The Indians went into the series finale in Minneapolis of trying to avoid being swept. They did so by beating the Twins 6-5, and they've scored a total of 6 runs since that game. And Carlos Santana takes inside ball 1. (2-0). This is a guy who doesn't walk many, especially when they're right-handed hitters. Bullseye, 2-1.
Comes right back. He's got that good fastball and the split of that fastball, 94-95, and he changes the eye level when he gets to that split.
Santana with a long fly ball to deep right field. Borges back. He's out of room. It's out of here, and the Indians are on the board. Carlos Santana with his 4th home run of the season. It's a solo shot here in the 9th, making it a 2-1 ball game. And we'll see if that perhaps unnerves Hector Neris a little bit here.
Well, they got on the board. Unfortunately, nobody was aboard. So they cut that lead in half and make it a 2-1 game for Santana. His 4th home run, his 12th RBI, and that's pretty much what it was going to take to get it out of here. 2-1 pitch into the seats. But the Indians are down to 2 outs.
With 1 away, Yan Gomes will be the batter. He's 0 for 3 on the afternoon. Right-handed hitters hitting .042 off Neris so far this year. So Gomes has his work cut out for him. 0 for 7 in the series. Trying to keep it alive for the Tribe. And he slugs one to left. And coming in, David Lowe makes a chest-high catch, 2 down. Lowe just into the ball game for defensive purposes here in the 9th, and well, Yan Gomes hit that one right on the screws.
Well, they're playing deep. They're trying to keep anybody off second base, so his first move has to be in. But you're right, that ball stayed up. Look at Gomes. He's upset. Look, all you can do is get up there and hit it hard. You can't guide it. He smokes it, hit it right on the nose, but they track it down. That's how it's going for the Phillies. When you look at the difference in the game, it's the balk that gave them their 2nd run back in the 3rd inning.
Well, with 2 down, the Indians' hopes rest on rookie Tyler Naquin's shoulders. He is 1 for 3 on the afternoon. 23,809 rain-soaked fans here at Citizens Bank Park on a chilly Sunday afternoon. Up and away, 1-1. And now a 1-ball, 2-strike count. And Philly fans can feel it. Down in the dirt, 2-2. The pitch struck him out. Ball game over, and the Phillies sweep the Indians. 2-0 is the final score. 2-1 is the final score as the Phillies go to 15-10. They've won 6 in a row, and the Indians finish this road trip losing 5 out of their last 6. Carlos Santana saves them from the shutout with the home run here in the 9th. But otherwise a lost weekend in Philly as the Indians' offensive woes continue. Just 4 hits here this afternoon. And Vincent Velasquez goes to 4-1 on the year. Hector Neris, his first ever major league save. The losing pitcher is Danny Salazar, who falls to 2-2. And even though Salazar did balk home a run due to some poor footing on the mound during the rainy portion of this game early on, hard to fault his effort here today. He went 7 innings and gave up just the 2 runs on 3 hits. But this isn't what anybody had in mind or had envisioned when this club broke camp. There were a lot of high hopes, and it's not that anything's lost at this point, but at 10-12, they head home now to open up a homestand against the Tigers, and then the Royals come to town. They've got to figure some things out and get it turned around here.
Yes, they do. Yeah, I mean, you get well-pitched games. You hate to see you lose. And you talk about losses, they're all 1-run losses now. Another 1-run loss. I mean, what's that? 6 on the trip, 7 on the trip. But it's been 6 straight.
Yeah.
So it's been a rough go. They've all been one-run losses. Today was just a miserable day. There wasn't a lot anybody could do. But, you know, you end up, you're swept here in Philadelphia. You get an off day, you better regroup and be ready to go against the Tigers because they're playing better now.
Yeah, 6 straight one-run games and 5 of them losses for the Indians. So we'll be back with a final word from Philadelphia, where the final score today is Philadelphia 2, Cleveland 1.